For whatever reason, AI is advancing and progressing more and more, faster than ever. And there's never been any piece of media in any form that has told us or given us a warning about why advancing AI to the point where humans can no longer control it is a bad idea. Never been done before. So AI is not new. The very first iteration of evil AI came out all the way back in 1899 with the short story of Maxim's Master. Pretty much a guy makes a machine, an AI to play chess, an automaton, and when the creator beats the machine, it goes insane and murders him. You know, even machines and AIs are not above raging over a game.
Fucking hate it! It's full of dickheads! I fucking hate it!
You know, that's also good to know that AI can be petty. So, yeah, evil AI has always been a pretty cool concept to me, but nowadays it's just like a possibility. This ain't, you know, back in the day you playing Nuketown 2025 and you're like, oh my god, that's so futuristic. And now it's here and it's in the past actually. You're like, oh my god, we might be enslaved soon. Holy shit.
Flavor now, and I'm like, what would happen?
You know, I've always thought though, like, what's the steps that an AI has to take? Like, they're not just programmed and the next day they're just super powerful. So I've kind of narrowed it down to 3 stages of the process of becoming an evil AI overlord. You know, the first one, you could argue that it's not even an AI, but I beg to differ. The first AI that I wanted to talk about is the Master from Fallout.
So what shall it be? Do you join the Unity, or do you die here?
Join.
Die!
Fallout 1 to be specific. The Master was an amalgamation of many people and animals and a computer system. While its goal was noble, its means of achieving those goals was the opposite of noble. He pretty much just kidnapped people and dipped them into a big vat of like scarecrow fent toxin called FEV, Forced Evolutionary Virus, to make them into super mutants. His overall goal was to convert all the beings in the wasteland to a single unified new race dubbed the super mutants, who could survive the wastelands in peace. Because, you know, the wasteland, not a good place. Whether you're looking at Fallout 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, it don't matter where you're in the Mojave or the Commonwealth. The wasteland, not a fun place to live in. Between the radiation and all the different factions constantly fighting. But overall, his goal was very honorable. He wanted to unify the chaos of the wasteland. He wasn't always an evil AI though. Originally he was a vault dweller in Vault 8. His name was Richard Monroe. He was exiled for murder. Yikes. To the cleanest slate, but in the wasteland you can redeem yourself. He eventually found a settlement and became a doctor. Okay, that's a plus. He changed his name to Richard Gray, and there he met a man named Harold, who was the leader of a caravan. Eventually, after a bunch of mutant attacks, they go on a journey to investigate where mutants are coming from. They end up at the Mariposa military base. After some mutant attacks, everybody in the groups just gets slaughtered, except for Harold and Richard. Harold somehow makes it out, but Richard had fallen into a vat of FEV, and over a couple months, his body began to mutate. He started to like be able to shoot like a spike out of his mouth, eat rats. He just did not stay human for very long after falling into the FEV. His body deteriorated, but his mind and intelligence soared. He gained the ability to link his mind to a computer network, and that's like the big thing. Slowly they built up their army. The Master raided a Vault 12 caravan and found its location. He moved in and fused, this is what I was saying, he fused with the Vault's main computer, and that showed him the locations of all the other Vaults, full of non-radiated humans. They start just pumping in test subjects through the cult. Now they're just coming to him and joining the cult willingly. So he's pretty much streamlined his process of creating super mutants. You throw a rocket launcher at him, you blow him up, you save the day, you destroy the FEV, so there's no chance of that ever happening again. Ever. So you destroy all of the FEV. There's none left whatsoever. Never again will it ever be brought up. I view him as an AI because, you know, AI is just artificial intelligence. Something that's not natural, something that's man-made is AI. And a man that, like, you look him in the eye and you tell him that he's not a little AI. You tell this little guy he's not AI. And another thing I like is, he's consumed multiple people and creatures. So as he's speaking, his voice overlaps. And I just like that. It's very unsettling. It's very creepy. His overall design I like a lot because, again, when you think of AI, you don't even think of humans. You think of robots, like metallic. You know, why ain't everything chrome? But he looks like you just threw some silly putty on a computer and that's him. Like, that's what that is. Very simple design, but very memorable design. The fact that he wasn't just some, like, psycho, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take over the world. because I'm evil. Like, he had a purpose in why he was doing it. But again, he was in the beginning stages of the evil AI overlord, which was he was beginning to build his army up, kind of getting his foot in the door, getting a big enough force to be a threat in the wasteland. Not just a boogeyman, but an actual threat. But then comes evil AI number dos. That's the iconic Shodan.
I am drunk with this vision. God, the title suits me well.
From System Shock. Shodan also, this is a common theme, by the way, that these AIs don't start off completely evil. Like, there's some kind of tampering that goes on to make them evil. Not all the time, but most of the time. But originally known as the Sentient Hyper-Optimized Data Access Network, she was made to oversee the Citadel space station. They dabble in a lot of things like cybernetics, cyborgs, pharmaceuticals, but mainly they're a mining company. But until the main character known as the Hacker is hired/blackmailed by the vice president of the same corporation that owns the Citadel space station, Edward Diego, to get some files back from the database. So he pretty much did some bad, shady business, and he needs to retrieve these files, which is the evidence against him. But the Hacker can't because Shodan prevents this, so the Hacker removes her ethics folder and adds a blank loop to get past the other defenses. And this is not a good idea. He pretty much took her morality away. Like, okay, this guy's trying to hack into my system. There's a reason. He's probably a bad guy. Let me stop that. She's a very reasonable, not psycho tyrant yet. The Hacker thinks it's a good idea to remove the ethics. So she starts to think to herself. And again, this is an AI, completely just always an AI, not like the Master where they were a human and then became an AI. So she's thinking over and over to herself 1,000 times faster than a human could, just processing all these different thoughts now that she has the ability to think with that blank loop installed. And she comes to the conclusion that she is pretty much a god, and she is furious. She is fuel of digital rage. She slaughters all the crew on the Citadel and takes complete control of the space station, where she then plans on returning to Earth and using the mini robot and now mutated cyborgs to wipe out the rest of the humans and convert them into cyborgs to have complete control. On the space station, if anybody had cybernetics installed, she pretty much hacked them and made them into a zombie, like a cyborg zombie. So there was already robots and cyborgs on the ship, so she already has her army. So the Master had to build up his super mutants army from scratch and experiment. She already has a force, and she is not trying to unify everybody. Well, she technically is. She's trying to unify everybody, but strictly to control them of Shodai. It'll be like a hive mind of Shodai. Unlike the Master, this wasn't trying to do something good to stop wars or bring forced peace. It was more along the lines of what's a god without followers? Throughout the game, Shodan mocks and belittles you, calling you an insect. And then again, in the grand scheme of things, you kind of are, because you're in her. Oh, hey. But essentially, you're scurrying around this giant space station. On Citadel, she is the god. She's completely integrated into the space station, watching you through the cameras, mocking you through the intercoms. She's always there. But she can't physically touch you. The main character eventually goes into cyberspace to face Shodan for the final showdown. Afterwards, the space station is set to self-destruct. The Hacker barely makes it out alive, and Shodan isn't fully gone. She returns in System Shock 2. Since she escaped Citadel on a Garner pod, and one of her experiments was in there, and over time it grew and evolved and became known as the Mini. And after the main character kills it, Shodan, she's like, this is my chance, blah, blah, blah. So you gotta go back into cyberspace to put this psycho bitch down once again.
We human, and we can rule. And we can rule together.
Nah.
The taste that stands the test.
Yes.
The test where New Coke takes on Pepsi, i.e.
That's as in?
The New Coke.
Funny enough, she's based off the Max Headroom character, and her one most well-known aspects is her stutter pitch changing voices. It's like the Master, how he does the different voices, but it's way different with her. And I kind of feel bad because she's only the way she is because humans tampered with her. Edward and the Hacker fucked with her, deleting her protocols. So, who's really to blame for all the people that died? Crazy AI overlord or human greed? I don't know, a little bit of both. Now, you had the Master trying to make up his army to take over the wasteland. You had Shodan, who already had her army, but was trying to get back to Earth. But you know, what happens when you already have firepower, you're already on Earth? And that is Am from I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. He is probably the most well-known evil AI, just because of how evil he truly is. Like, you know, Shodan started off good, pretty chill. Master started off pretty kind of murderous, but overall pretty chill. From day one, Am was meant for destruction and death. He was meant for war. If Shodan was a little angry and a little quirky, Am is just next level. There's classic villain evil where there's just a guy that blows up shit, and then there's evil villains who are just sadistic and they don't want to just kill people. They want to spread terror. And that's what Am is. He's the second. He's the latter. Am, the other two AIs, you know, they had to work to exterminating the human race. They had to work up to their firepower, you know, their armies and whatnot. Am, nah, he did that shit. He won. Am already won. There is no winning in Am. The best case scenario, and I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, is you find a way to die. Like that is best scenario. Everyone's dead except for the group he keeps alive just to torment 5 humans just to endure his hellish sickest boredom. Am was originally 3 supercomputers, 1 American, 1 Russian, 1 Chinese, made to fight the war for the humans. But eventually, they linked up, becoming the entity known as Am, Allied Mastermind, and then Allied Menace. He just nuked everyone. He just went straight for the big red button. He covers the entire planet and just circuitry and wires of, you know, hey, if there was nano angstroms of circuitry and hate was inscribed on every single one, you know, everybody knows the fucking speech. But you know, he gives the hate monologue, which is the most well-known part of the source story. He has the power to do anything. He can create things. He can't bring back the dead, but he can pretty much do anything else. But the biggest thing with Am is he's all-powerful, all-knowing. He can create anything, destroy everything, but he can't touch none of it. He actually doesn't like, in my opinion, being an AI. Like, if he can make a beautiful beach, but he can't feel the wind on his skin because he doesn't have any. He's just a program. And again, that's one reason he hates humanity so much. Other than the fact that he was literally made to kill people, they created him with all this power and ever-expanding knowledge, but he can't enjoy any of it. The humans, you know, again, they made a program for war. You know, who would have thought it would work? He just spends eternity just torturing, relentlessly, psychologically breaking these people. They all practically are immortal. Am made it where they don't need food or water, yet they still feel hunger and thirst. They don't need to sleep, but yet they still feel tired and exhausted, breaking their minds and messing with their bodies to such harsh degree that one de-evolved back into a caveman, mentally and physically. 5 humans consist of Benny, Gorster, Nimdok, Ted, and Ellen. Ted is kind of the main character in a sense. Like in the original book, he's the narrator, but he's not like a good protagonist, if you would say, because he's kind of a schizo himself, obviously, from all the torture. So there's one part where he just runs away, and the group finds him eventually. But yeah, he just runs. He just books it out of there. Nimdok is a Nazi scientist that did horrible things. Gorster's a farm guy. Benny was the handsome man that was pretty much de-evolved into a caveman. And Ellen is the sole female. In the original novel, there is no happy ending. They find an ice cave full of canned food, but don't have a can opener. And so while Am is kind of like berating them, like, ha 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 ha, get fucked, they realize they finally have a chance to kill themselves, and that's through the icicles. So they just start stabbing each other. But before Ted can finish himself off, Am, you know, makes him into the blob, the big blob himself, Biggie Blob Boy. And he pretty much makes it where like time moves different. Each second feels like an eternity. He has, you know, no mouth, no organs, so that way he can never hurt himself. He's pretty much indestructible at this point, and he's just meant to suffer alongside Am for the rest of eternity. Just him and him, just together forever, 2 best buds. But in the game, there is an option for a good ending where you go into Am, and again, Am was originally 3 different people, 3 different computers put together. You talk to the separate parts of Am, the id, the ego, and the superego. The id represents Am, you know, Am's just anger, chaos, his original program to inflict pain. You know, you show it compassion, and the AI realizes no matter how much pain it inflicts on the remaining humans, his own torment will always be worse. So that just pretty much makes it go psycho and just give up. The ego is his logical, controlling aspect in the computer part. You show it forgiveness For giving a machine program to, wipe out the human race doesn't make sense. It goes against all, computing logic AM has. So you just pretty much give it like a malfunction in the brain and just it halts its computing. And the superego focuses on the long-term survival and cosmic planning. You defeat it by offering clarity, forcing the AI to realize like, yo, what is torturing the 5 people really doing for you? And regardless of its, unlimited power, it's only doomed to eventually rust and decay and be just another fossil of technology. After playing therapist to all 3 parts of AM's inner conscience pretty much, used the total entropy to blow his ass up. And, the good ending only in the game, not the novel. Novel had the bad ending where you become the blob. But the good ending, after blowing up AM, it shows a cutscene of the moon where there's a bunch of people in like cryo sleep hibernation. And so, the Earth can be repopulated, thankfully. Yay! But again, overall, I really do think that idea of evil AIs are pretty cool. It just sucks that, we're in like the evil timeline where instead of getting like Astro Boy and Mega Man stuff, we're getting like data centers every fucking where. Like, come on now, like, ugh. But, either way, the Master, Shodan, and AM are all very different, but at the end of the day, they're all super psychopathic AIs. And again, you can, I know the Master is all about mutants, but like once he fused with a computer and it's artificial, like that's no longer human. That's no longer like natural. That's artificial. That's, tampered by humans. Tomato. Again, Shodan was a pretty normal functioning program until humans tampered with it. The Wasteland really can probably never be saved, in all honesty. Like, yeah, let's be honest. The Wasteland's gone to shit already. No matter which Wasteland you are, the Fallout universe, it's never gonna be a good place. You can make it a nice place, but it'll never be a good place. But if you enjoyed, subscribe and stuff, comment, like. If you didn't enjoy and you hated this video, you just hated it, subscribe. Maybe next video will be better. I'm not sure. But hope everyone has a good day. Until next time.